Hi, I'm Pete Mosley, business editor for Craft and Design magazine, with a video all about confidence. I've been thinking about day-to-day confidence a lot recently. It's a mercurial quality at the best of times, and one which ebbs and flows for everyone throughout their lives. It's not something you get once and then have forever. You have it once, then it escapes you, and then it comes back again, seemingly in a different form. We all need to find our own brand of confidence and employ it in ways that are unique to ourselves. It's not an area of self-development that lends itself to easy mastery. On the one hand, we might experience criticism from others, with our confidence bruised as a result, and on the other we find ourselves actively pulling the rug out from underneath our own feet. And so it goes in our businesses, trying to keep our customers stimulated and keep them engaged, while we paddle like Billy to stay confident, keep the business alive, and keep the ideas flowing. I know this isn't easy. When I'm out on the road delivering talks and workshops to creative people, I often note that it's usually not the quality of work that holds people back. More often it's the quality of their courage and their self-confidence. So how do you build a clear foundation of confidence beneath all this? Don't struggle on your own. Surround yourself with supportive people. Find someone close that you can be accountable to. Ask them to keep an eye out for you while you climb your mountains and keep nudging you now and again to keep back on track. This is best set up as a two-way process, with you doing the same for them in return. This accountability alone can often make the difference between survival and failure. Don't pull the rug out from under your own feet. We all feel like a fraud sometimes. This fear of being found out is pretty universal. We mark our successes down to luck, timing, or as a result of deceiving others into thinking we're more intelligent and competent than we believe ourselves to be. As such, it can stop us in our tracks. We feel we're not worthy, so we don't push ourselves forward onto more prominent platforms. We fail to stick our head above the parapet. Does that sound familiar? This imposter syndrome manifests itself powerfully in the lives of a lot of creative people, and I include myself in that number. For some, it's a minor hurdle, and simply reminding ourselves that it's largely just another threshold of anxiety to be stepped over does the trick. For others, it's a fairly constant companion and a measurable hindrance to progress. So how can we overcome this barrier to self-development? The first step is to recognise that it's happening and to accept that we have to factor it in rather than ignore or deny it. The second step is to figure out just how it gets in the way. What's it stopping us doing? As part of this step, you need to give yourself credit for all of your past experience. Take the time to list all your past successes and allow yourself to enjoy reflecting on them. This alone can boost your confidence again. The third step is to strategize. How do we behave? How do we plan? What support and advice do we seek in order to tiptoe around it or break through it? Get some ruthless compassion. I first came across the concept of ruthless compassion while studying for my coaching post-grad. Essentially, it describes an approach where one person is able to point out to another, hopefully in a timely manner, the need to rethink actions or behaviours in order to avoid a potentially damaging outcome. Checking things out with a trusted peer can boost your confidence no end. It's the grown-up equivalent of intervening when you see a child about to stick its finger in an electrical socket or otherwise place herself in danger. You wouldn't just stand by and let disaster unfold, would you? Once you grasp the value of the concept, it's easy to see that from time to time it's worthwhile asking someone you trust to exercise ruthless compassion on your behalf. We all get a bit close to the edge sometime, tempted to launch an idea into the world without thinking it through, let something through our internal quality control without looking at closely enough, responding to a difficult situation without taking time or maybe even recognising the need to step back and count to 10 before acting. Get out in your stretch zone. When you're under pressure, staying in your comfort zone seems like the easy option, even staying under the duvet sometimes when times are rough. But pyjama days need to be balanced with time spent in the rough and tumble of your stretch zone. You do need both things. Becoming more confident isn't always about removing stress. Sometimes the confidence comes from knowing that you have strategies in place to deal with the discomfort as you're feeling it. That requires practice. For example, people don't necessarily become better public speakers because they've eliminated stress. They accept and work with the stress because the benefits of doing so outweigh the temporary discomfort. And so it goes with a lot of business issues. The more time spent in the stretch zone, the more familiar the uncomfortable feelings become. And as the familiarity grows, so does the confidence. This is true of a lot of things that small business owners feel underconfident about. Money, social media, sales calls, chasing unpaid bills, you name it. There's lots of areas where you simply can't be expert from the get-go. So if you want to get confident, dive in. Play around in your stretch zone. As you do, you'll become more relaxed about living with the stressors. Some may simply fade away. Then it's time to stretch even further, and so on. Easy to say, much harder to force yourself to make it happen, but it works, I promise you. Mindfulness and visualization. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention. It's not just about listening, it's about multi-sensory awareness. It does require practice. In some senses, its closest relative is meditation. People who meditate are by nature mindful, but you can develop it as a skill set in its own right, and you can be mindful anywhere. I use this technique often to still my mind and get ready for a mentoring session. I've been known to do it in the loo if I can't find any other quiet space. You just need to put your palms on your knees, close your eyes and breathe steadily and deeply for 2 or 3 minutes, whilst simply paying attention to what's happening beyond the clutter of your own noisy mind. Mental rehearsal. Once you're able to easily put yourself into a mindful state, you can extend this technique into the realms of visualization and mental rehearsal. Once in a mindful state, it's much easier to mentally walk through potentially stressful situations by first of all visualizing them, then by rehearsing different scenarios within them, including how you're likely to feel and respond to the situation. All successful sports people now do this as a matter of course, as part of the training routine. Thanks for listening.